So hello everyone, we're back here again. We're on Practical 4 today, and what we're going to do today is configure Fume. So we're going to download Fume, configure it. Fume is an ingesting tool used part of the Hadoop ecosystem and allows us to ingest data from a source over a channel to a HDFS sync or some kind of Fume sync, whether it's a HBase table, a HDFS file system, a local file system, can be an Avro file, can be a Hive table. So there's lots of different Fume syncs that we can configure. Today we're just going to use a HDFS sync. We're going to use the Netcat server to generate some data for us. This data then will be carried across the memory channel to a HDFS sync. So in order to demonstrate the use of Fume, as I said before, we're going to use Netcat. So Netcat, I need to install Netcat. So to install Netcat, if you haven't got it on your machine, is yum install nc for netcat x86_64. So Netcat basically collects data at a particular port. The port that we are going to configure is going to be port number 12345. What we do then is we open up a terminal, and the terminal we're able to send data from the terminal to the actual server. The server will collect the data. So at this point what we want to do is configure the Fume source to look at the Netcat server to collect this data and to bring it back to a HDFS sync across the channel. So we have Netcat installed. Now we want to tell it what port number to listen to. So nc-l listen to port 12345. Okay, so that'll go ahead and it'll use that port. So if we open up another terminal, and this is to send the messages to the server, so nc and just localhost 12345. Okay, so I can send messages now to the server, Netcat server, so I'll just say hello everyone, and that should appear on the other server. Okay, so we have that up and running, so we can close that down, close terminal. So the next thing we want to do is install Fume. So we open up Firefox and we are going to install Fume. Again, it's just a tar.gz download. We'll untar it, we'll extract the files, we'll change the name to Fume, we'll copy Fume up to the opt directory again, and then we will do a few configuration changes inside this fume.env.sh file. There is a Java home and class path variables that we must set. Did I click on that? So we'll download the Fume. I'm opened up too, of course. So let's go to Google. So fume.apache.org, downloading Fume. We are going to download the binary image because we don't want to have to compile it. So this one here looks good, 1.8.0 bin tar.gz. The rest have checksums associated with them, which we don't have time to do. So we'll download it from our enet.ie site, save it. So we just go to the downloads folder, and we have Apache Flume there. So again, we just go and do our extraction and unzipping of our Apache Flume. Probably hasn't finished yet, Aduna. No, it hasn't. So we're going to go ahead and configure Flume, and we're going to set up a source, which is going to be our Netcat server. We're going to set up a channel, which is going to be a memory channel, and we're going to set up a HDFS sync. And then we'll try this again. Okay, so we've untarred. It creates directory called Apache Flume 1.8.0. So we want to move that Apache Flume to call it Flume, and that's it. And now we want to copy Flume, and we want to copy it up to the up directory, which we won't have permissions to do because we're not logged in as root. So we do log in as root. So let's go to the up directory, and we have Flume there. Just making sure that Flume isn't. So Flume needs to be, ownership needs to be changed. So change own Hadoop -or to up Flume. And that looks better. Okay. So that's okay. So we've done that. And now what we want to do is start the configuration. So in order to start the configuration, we need this file here called flume-env.sh template, and we're going to rename it to flume-env.sh. So I'm going to flume config, and there it is. So we want to make a copy of it. So flume-env.sh.template, flume-env.sh, and then we want to open up env.sh and set these environment variables. So Java home is Java JDK 1.8. And the next one we want to do is the Flume class path. So inside the double quotes, we want to put in /opt flume /lib colon, and then Java home /lib colon Hadoop home and then Hadoop home again /lib. Okay, so double checking that that's okay. So opt flume lib $Java home /lib Hadoop home and then Hadoop home /lib. Okay, so that's all we do there. The next thing we want to do is set up flume bin to the path environment variable. So go into our bash rc file, go down here, export, and then go down to the end of our path environment variable So we're setting Fume home to opt Fume, and now we want to add Fume home to the end of our path environment variable. So we type in here Fume underscore home and / bin. Okay, Fume home and that's it. So source.bash rc. Okay, so basically that's all there is to the configuration. Now we need to create our system. So we're going to create a Fume agent called A1, and inside this agent A1 we are going to have a source which is going to be a netcat source. So we've created this variable here, netcat underscore s1. A1.sync is equal to hdfs sync. A1.channels is equal to c1. So you can name these here, but be aware that naming them meaningfully is recommended so that people coming after you understand exactly where the syncs and the sources are coming from. So we need to go into the opt Fume configuration directory, and we shall put our fume.config file in here. So I'm just going to create a new file. Fume.config. So in here we start to type a1.sources equals to netcat s1. a1.syncs is equal to hdfs underscore sync, and a1.channels equals to c1. Now, first thing we want to do is we want to configure our source. So to configure the source, we want a1.sources.netcat underscore s1 dot type equals to netcat. A1 dot sources dot netcat underscore s1 dot bind equals to localhost. A1 dot sources dot netcat underscore s1 dot port equals 12345. Okay, so that's our source configured. Now we want to describe the sync. So a1 dot syncs dot hdfs underscore sync dot type equals to hdfs. A1 dot syncs dot hdfs underscore sync dot hdfs dot path is equal to hdfs colon hadoop1.example.com port 9000 Fume ex1, and then a1.syncs.hdfs underscore sync dot hdfs dot write format equal to text. A1 dot syncs dot hdfs underscore sync dot hdfs dot file type equals to data stream. Okay, so we've described the sync. A1.syncs.hdfs underscore sync, which is the name of our sync, dot type is hdfs. A1.syncs.hdfs underscore sync dot hdfs dot path is equal to hdfs hadoop1.example.com port 9000, which is our HDFS file system, and in there it will create a directory for you called Fume ex1. So you don't have to create this directory, it'll create it for you. The next line, a1.syncs.hdfs underscore sync.hdfs.write format, is the type of data that it's expecting, and it's going to be a data stream. So hopefully that is okay. The next thing we want to do now is configure our channel. So we have a1.channels.c1.type equals to memory a1.channels.c1.capacity of our channel is 20,000 bytes. a1.channels.c1.transaction capacity is equal to 100 bytes. Okay, so we've configured our memory channel. We're allowing 20,000 bytes of capacity at any one time, and each transaction will be 100 bytes in size. So a1.channels.c1.type, a1.channels.c1.capacity, a1.channels.c1.transaction capacity equals 100. So now the next thing we want to do is bind the source and syncs to our memory channel. So a1.sources.netcat underscore s1 dot channels equals to c1, a1 dot syncs dot hdfs underscore sync dot channel equals to c1, and that is it. Okay, so it's really important that you have a look at this and make sure that it's all okay. So a1.sources.netget underscore s1 dot channels is equal to c1, which is the name of our memory channel. a1.syncs.hdfs underscore sync dot channel in this case is equal to c1. Okay, so save that, and then we want to start a Fume agent. So Fume, just checking that our services are all started, because otherwise we won't be able to write to HDFS. So we have a name node, resource manager, data node, node manager, secondary name node. Yep. So let's start our Fume ng agent, and the configuration is called fume.config. We are already in the Fume configuration directory, so we don't need to specify that. So we just specify fume.config. The name of our agent is called A1. Okay, so if we have a look at the messages that appear here on the screen, you can see that channel C1 connected, starting new configuration, starting channel C1, channel name C1 successfully registered, starting sync HDFS sync, starting source netcat source S1 source starting. So it does look relatively healthy. So if we go back to our terminal, and test this. So what we want to do is send messages to the netcat server. So if we want to do that, we specify three, four, five, and now we send messages So when we send this message, we're sending it to the netcat server. Hello everyone. At the netcat server, we have a source. A source is listening for messages to come in, and once the messages comes in, it sends that particular message event to the memory channel, which in turn stores it onto the HDFS Fume EX1 directory. So let's send a few messages. Hello everyone. Today is Monday. Okay, so that seems to be working okay. So let's open up another terminal. Let's see if it created the Fume EX1 directory. So we can see here that it has created the Fume EX1 directory. It's the Hadoop user that has created it. And so let's go ahead now and have a look at that directory. Okay, we can see that there's two files in here, and these files would represent each message event that was sent. So we can do a cat on one of these files. Fume data dot 15181.760. Nothing happening. So Fume EX1 Fume data dot, where am I, 151.181.151.817.604.7644. Today is Monday, which is not spelled right, but you get the idea. Okay, so we've created our source, we've created our memory channel, and and it allows us to store data onto a HDFS sync. Okay, so that's the end of part 1 of the Fume configuration. So hopefully it turns out okay. Sometimes what happens is most of the mistakes made would be in this part here, where you make sure that you have A1.sources, its sinks and channels, sources, its sinks and channels, and then the very end one here is sync underscore HDFS sync dot channel. Hopefully that works out okay for you, and thanks for listening.